Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Mr. Rick Pilkington from Tasmanians Against the Pulp Mill, that fantastic community group that's been fighting so hard for so many years as well.
G'day there. Thanks for coming. I had to prepare this short notice, but I'm speaking on behalf of TAP, which is a local grassroots community organisation made up of residents and business people who live in Launceston and the Tamar Valley and have been fighting against this noxious proposal for quite a while now. When in August the Tasmanian Parliament passed the approval of a pulp mill in one of Australia's prime wine growing and tourist regions, a region that 100,000 people call home, my home, it rewarded one of the most appalling examples of corrupt, irresponsible and undemocratic governance in modern Australian times. Yesterday, Malcolm Turnbull and John Howard's approval, albeit conditional, of the proposed Gunns pulp mill for our Tamar Valley only added insult to our injury. Here in Tasmania, we were regaled with a procession of gushing overstatements and endorsements by the usual suspects, the same axis of Tasmanian business and political mates, the same ratbags who have throughout this sordid pulp mill process grossly understated and glossed over all of the appalling loss of public confidence brought about by the political interference and lack of real rigour that we have seen in Paul Lennon's great pulp mill swindle. I have to say that for the government chief scientist Dr. Jim Peacock to make the claim without further qualification that the mill would have a neutral environmental impact is highly problematic, and I cannot let this go unchallenged. The fact remains, despite the significance of yesterday's occasion, the grand consequences of yesterday's decision, and all of Mr. Turnbull's overwrought displays of self-congratulation, the impacts on the nation's jewel in the crown forest, which are here in Tasmania, which can and will in unlimited supplies be consumed by the pulp mill, remain unassessed. As do the subsequent impact on Tasmania's unique and iconic wildlife through the loss of habitat and poisoning, as do the impacts on our water catchments, estuaries and community drinking water, as does the impacts on the loss of prime agricultural farmland and the subsequent loss of local food production that follows from the out-of-control proliferation of MIS subsidised tree farms, the impact on local roads and a comprehensive transport plan not done, the potential impact on tourism in the economy not assessed, in fact no real risk assessment or proper cost-benefit analysis anywhere. And most pertinent for the residents, visitors and tourism operators here in the Tamar Valley, a complete glossing over of the one hallmark that we know is guaranteed to accompany this pulp mill. The hallmark that distinguishes pulp mills from other industries, the foul, disgusting and at times almost unbearable odour that our tourism minister from the safety of her own home in Hobart tells us we will just have to learn to live with. So the good people of Tasmania were duped and hoodwinked. That the people of Tasmania recognise and object to this obscenity has been consistently demonstrated in opinion polls, and that leads me to the one crucial issue that underpins most of the community opposition. That is the deep mistrust and dislike of the proposed operator Gunns and its cosy relationship with the Lennon government. That is very palpable here in Tasmania. How can Gunns and Mr. Lennon be proud of this? What sort of achievement is that? I tell you now, the majority of Tasmanians are still shaking their heads at how we have reached a point where our so-called elected representatives and the very shady Tasmanian forestry industry have been allowed to force this unwanted, environmentally noxious, economically dubious and socially malignant project down the throats of an unwilling community. I'll tell you how, because Gunns tell the Tasmanian government what to do. Just ask former Supreme Court Judge and RPDC panellist Dr. Christopher Wright, Dr. Warwick Gravity and Julian Green. Ask these three good and decent men who were appointed by the Premier to Tasmania's RPDC what they thought about the Gunns proposal. Well, I can tell you they thought it stunk. Gunns failed twice to satisfy these gentlemen that they could build such a facility in the Tamar Valley without adversely impacting on the environment and the community. That's why Gunns, aided and abetted by the Premier, withdrew from the process. So our own RPDC did not approve the pulp mill, and the people have not approved the pulp mill. Yet still this unpopular company and our unpopular government are determined to ram their project down our throats. What is this a recipe for? And so it is that I call upon the many thousands of Tasmanians who have turned out to rallies and demonstrations, who sign petitions in the street, who voice their disapproval in polls, the quiet dissenters whom you and I talk to every day, at work, in the street, at school, at home, and the concerned people of this nation who I know are here in spirit with us today, all of whom have been ignored by our so-called elected representatives, to stand with us in our determination not to hand over our community, our valley, to this all-consuming pulp mill invasion. The fight has only just begun.